Hello and welcome back to DocTrack Administrator Training. For this lesson, we'll begin our look at document rules and profiles with Windows document saving rules. During our last lesson, we learned how important it is to control what is attached, who attaches it, where it's archived, and who can see the attachment. Yet at the same time, we need to let our users easily attach and access all the files they need to do their job. We can do all of this by creating a DocTrack document saving rule. Using this tool, users can drag and drop files just as easily as they could for manual attachments. But DocTrack will control which users can make the attachment, how and where the file is saved, and what it's attached to. To show how to set this up, let's use a common example. At Progressive Cycles, we receive purchase orders from our customers by email. Our customer service folks want to be able to attach those purchase orders to the customer order in Sightline. So we're going to create a DocTrack document saving rule to make that happen. In the Type drop-down box, we'll select Windows. Because we want DocTrack to make a copy of the existing electronic file and manage it. We'll look at the other options later. In the Form field, we'll select CO, since we want the file to be attached to the customer order record. For our rule description, we'll start by entering Customer PO. Then, in parentheses, I'll enter the word drag to indicate that it's a Windows rule, and FS to indicate that it's being saved to the file system. You'll see a little later why I'm doing this. Below the header are 6 tabs, but only 3 of them are used with Windows type saving rules. We'll start with the Main tab. In the Archive location, we need to tell DocTrack the kind of environment that we'll be using to save our new file. Our options are File System, Database, Cloud Storage, and Document Management System. For this example, we'll select File System. We'll look at the other options later on in this course. Next is the Attachment description. This is the description that will appear next to the new attachment in DocTrack Flex. We could just enter Customer PO here and be done with it. But I'd like to add the customer's actual PO number right here in the description. So how do we do that if this is supposed to be a rule for all customer purchase orders? The answer lies in the Fields drop-down box. Here you'll find every field in the SQL table that supports this form. In this case, the form is customer orders, so these are all columns in the CO table. I'll select Cust PO, then the Copy to Clipboard button, add a space at the end of the description, and then paste it. You'll hear us refer to these characters as a tag. When you see a tag, that tells you that DocTrack will look for text in the table of the form and insert that text automatically for you. And as you can imagine, that's really going to help us with our next field labeled Saving Rule. This is where we tell DocTrack precisely how to save our new copy of the customer purchase order. Now, before we get started on this, let's go back and look at the archive map we saw in the lesson on archiving strategy. For this and all the lessons that follow, I'm going to use this as my guide for saving all our files in DocTrack. Starting at the far left, you can see that our path begins with 2 backslashes and a server name. This is how you represent a UNC path. It's important to remember that we always want to reference a UNC path as opposed to a map drive. Next is the shared folder on that server that has been reserved as the root directory of our DocTrack archive. Everything from this point on, including all the subfolders and files, will be your DocTrack electronic filing cabinet. Going down the hierarchy, each of the folders in the next level represents a different department. In our case, we have customer service, engineering, finance, HR, production, and purchasing. This is the branch of the diagram that represents the customer service department. And here is the customer PO. The text inside this oval is a tag. This is telling us that under the customer service folder, we want a subfolder for each customer. And the name of that folder will be the customer number. Keep in mind that you will not have to create these folders in advance. When a user saves a file with a document saving rule, DocTrack will create this folder automatically if it doesn't already exist. Moving on, the next level shows that each customer folder will have up to 3 subfolders: estimates, customer orders, and RMAs. Continuing the path through the COs folder, we have another tag. This one indicates we want a separate folder at this level for every customer order. Finally, inside the customer order folder, we want to have all of the files and documents related to that customer order. And here is our customer PO. The file name begins with the prefix CPO, which will clearly identify this file as a customer purchase order. Then there's a dash and a tag that will insert the actual customer PO number right here in the file name. After that is an underscore and the characters CO- to indicate that the next bit of information is actually the customer order number. Next is a C and a dash, followed by the customer number. The last part of the planned file name will have an underscore and the date, followed by another underscore and the time. So we need to enter this path and this file name together in the file name field. When we're done, it should look like this. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, so this is a good time for a break. On our next lesson, we'll finish setting up our DocTrack document saving rule. See you then.